Okay, I'm back with part 2 of easy wallpaper removal using steam, no chemicals. So now I'm going to go on to this second layer of wallpaper that's been up there for Lord knows how long, maybe 25, 30 years. So let me get my steamer going. I'm going to turn it on, got it full, my little fabric steamer. And just so you know, I did have to score using just a box cutter here. I had to score along the bottom of the wallpaper here where it meets the tile because I had caulked on top of the wallpaper a little bit. So I did score through that because it was going to keep me from being able to get the wallpaper off. So steamer's heating up, getting ready. Have the scraper handy just in case you need it. But either that or a putty knife will work to scrape it off. Just be careful not to gouge into the wall itself, into the sheetrock or plaster itself, or then you've got a bigger job of having to prime it with a special texture. And going to get up here on my stool. Okay, I think you can see me. Yes, good. All right, so I already started a little bit on this side, scraping a little just to get it started. I'm going to start steaming it more to get it a little more loose. And if it's helpful, again, you can go from top to bottom, side to side, bottom to top, whichever way you'd like to do. Sometimes the wallpaper will come off easier one way rather than another, so try each way until it comes off the easiest for you. But again, for purposes of this video, I'm probably going to do side to side and probably not take the whole thing off in one piece. Okay? Let's see how this goes. I'm going to put my foot on the toilet here too so I can get a little closer. Alright, again, be careful. Standing on stools, toilets, be careful. I should just be able to peel this off. Let's see how it goes. Alright, yep, it's gone through the glue, straight to the sheetrock. It's going to wet the sheetrock a little. Just try not to wet it too much because you do have to wait till it dries before you can prep it for paint or whatever else you're going to do. And it's coming off in strips. So I am going to have to use my scraper. Let's see. There we go. Scraping it a little bit. Again, be careful not to gouge into your wall. And then you've got a bigger problem other than just getting your wallpaper off. Alright, let's go up here a little bit higher and see how this does. Again, this is the second layer of wallpaper because I had wallpapered over this layer because I didn't want to deal with this the first time. Honestly, I wish I had taken it off because it'd be much easier now to remove it all. As you can see, it's coming off in strips, so I am going to have to use my scraper to get it going again. It's really not that hard. Once it's steamed, you're softening the glue, the paste that's underneath, and it's really not very hard to scrape. Without the steam, it would be much harder to scrape this wallpaper off. Again, I'm using a wallpaper scraper, but you could use a putty knife or anything with a not too sharp, flat end. Oh, this glue is giving me a hard time here. Again, it's very old paste. It's been up there for 25, 30 years or so, so very old wallpaper paste. And I don't know if the kind of paste they used back then is the same kind as they use now. And we're coming off in strips here. Okay, so this one's proving to not be so easy. I'm going to have to do some more scraping. I'm going to turn this steamer off for a minute and put it down so I don't burn myself and just try to get this wallpaper going again. It's really stuck in a lot of different spots here. Yeah, it's going to take a while to get it to go in one piece again. It is trying to come up. It's just stuck in a couple of unusual spots. Again, it must be the wallpaper paste. This probably was not pre-pasted wallpaper. It was probably paste that they put on themselves, which means it's going to be heavier in some areas than it is in others. So, hence, it'll be harder to get off in some areas than it is in others. And if you don't have the steam going while you're pulling, well, there's some nice sheetrock right there. It makes it more difficult if you don't have the steam going at the same time, because once the steam starts to cool, it's just not as easy to get it going because I think the glue starts to form up again. Okay, this one's going to be a little harder than the other one, for sure. But again, no chemicals. So we can do this. So a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of scraping, and hopefully I'll get it going again. I'll be back. Okay, so I've made a discovery. The parts that don't want to come off where the wallpaper is ripping is where the sheetrock was not primed. So, note to self, prime your sheetrock before you wallpaper, or if you ever want to take it off, it's going to be a bugger to get off. So that's why it's sticking right here and coming off much easier where it's primed. As you can see, I can just peel it off the primed sheetrock, but look at the bits that are stuck on the unprimed sheetrock. That's where it's giving me a hard time. I'm using my scraper, and it's coming off, but it's much harder than this section over here that is on primed sheetrock. And I've also used my handy dandy 5-in-1 tool here to get to some really tiny areas of scraping, especially down here where there's caulk, where I have caulk on top of the newspaper, on top of the wallpaper. I can just scrape it off with my 5-in-1 tool. It scrapes pretty well. And it's also getting the little bits of wallpaper off for me too. Got to make sure you get all that wallpaper and glue off, and then wash the wall before you paint, or the paint will not stick. Very important. It's a process. But again, we're not using any chemicals here, just steam, a little bit of elbow grease with a scraper or a 5-in-1 tool, or even a metal putty knife works. So let's see if we can get this piece off here with hardly any difficulty at all. Steaming it with my little steamer here on the top and behind. And I'm going to rip it instead of trying to get it off all in one piece for the purposes of the video. It's coming off pretty well. Now it's a little stuck right here, so I'm going to get that started again with my scraper. Not much, just a little start there, something that I can grab with my fingers. And there we go. And it is coming off actually rather nicely. Oh, we're getting to another area of unprimed sheetrock. Hopefully it won't stick as bad as it did earlier on this section here. Perhaps this section had more wallpaper paste on it, and that's why it was so difficult. I'm not sure. We'll never know. Now it's still sticking a little bit harder over here because it's not primed, but it's coming off. It's not too bad. Yeah, you can actually still see some of the wallpaper paste and little patches on here, so that's going to need to be scrubbed off with a scrubby sponge and just some kind of detergent to get it off. It's very uneven, the wallpaper paste, so it must have been put on by hand, and this wallpaper must not be pre-pasted. But look, that came off fairly easy without using any chemicals, just a little bit of steam, a little bit of scraping. So it's coming. So I'll be back after I get some more of this off, and we'll see if we do have to do anything else to get this sheetrock ready to be painted. Bye for now.